Hello everyone, welcome again. We'll be starting our history chapter 2, that is nationalism in India. So let's start this video with this topic. Today we will read First World War, the non-cooperation and the Khilafat movement. Okay, so let's start. The want of freedom from colonial rule connected people across the country who were forced under the Indian National Congress by Mahatma Gandhi. From 1919, the movement spread to various sections of the society. The First World War had created a scenario which led to a huge increase in defense expenditure, which created hardships for common people. To worsen the conditions, there was crop failure and an epidemic of influenza, which led to people praising. The common man thought that their hardships would end after the war, but nothing improved. So, mm, if I can summarize all these points in a nutshell, so the year after 1919 saw the national movement spreading to the new areas. It started involving new social groups, developing new ways to struggle. So, what were these developments and what impact did they have? Let's discuss this. So, during the First World War, the expenditure on defense had increased to a great extent. To the British government, in order to finance the World War, levied huge taxes and duties on the Indians. During the war years, that is 1913 to 1918, the prices of the goods doubled up. All this led to extreme hardships for the common people. The other reason behind the anger of the commoners was the forceful recruitment of the villagers into the army. In 1918 to 1919 and 1920 to 21, situation became worse due to the failure of crops in many parts of the country. This led to the increase of food prices. Later on, people faced the epidemic of influenza. As per the census of 1921, 12 to 13 million people died because of the famines and the epidemic. The people of India thought that once the war will end, their hardships will also come to an end, but that never happened. At this stage, Mahatma Gandhi appeared as a new leader who suggested a new way of struggle against the British rule. So, first, starting next point, I will tell you impact of the First World War. So, in first is effect of war was financed by war loans and increasing taxes, doubling of prices between 1913 and 1918, leading to extreme hardship for the common people. Forced recruitment in rural area caused widespread anger. Then, in 1918 to 19 and 1920 to 21, crops failed in many parts of India, resulting in acute shortage of food. This was accompanied by an influenza epidemic. According to the census of 1921, 12 to 13 million people were died. So, next, at this stage, Mahatma Gandhi appeared as a new leader who suggested a new way of struggle against the British rule. His idea was to do satyagraha. So what satyagraha? Let's discuss about this. Satyagraha and Mahatma Gandhi. So Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in January 1915 from South Africa. Satyagraha means if the case was true, if the struggle was against injustice, then physical force was not necessary to fight the oppressors. Early Satyagraha of Gandhiji 1916 Champaran, Bihar inspires the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. 1916 Kheda, Gujarat. He organized a satyagraha to support the peasants affected by crop failure and plague epidemic. The peasants could not pay the revenue and were demanding that revenue collection be relaxed. 1918 Ahmedabad, Gujarat organized a satyagraha movement almost cotton mill workers. So, if I can summarize all these points in a nutshell, so the idea of satyagraha was conceived by Mahatma Gandhi when he returned from South Africa in 1915, where he had actively fought against racism. Satyagraha emphasized the power of need for truth. According to him, the concept of satyagraha would be the string that would unite the country. Gandhiji led satyagraha in Champaran, Kheda, and Ahmedabad to help the peasants. Next, I will explain this topic to you in detail. Mahatma Gandhi came back to India in January 1915. Before this, he used to live in South Africa where he had gained success in fighting against the injustice of racial discrimination. For this, he chose a new method of mass agitation but in a peaceful manner. This came to be known as Satyagraha. The idea of Satyagraha laid emphasis on the power of truth and the need of search of truth. The main philosophy behind the idea of Satyagraha was that if the cases was true and the struggle was against injustice, then there was no need to apply physical force to fight against the oppressors. The battle could be won through non-violence by appealing to the conscience of the oppressor. People, including the oppressor, were convinced to see and accept the truth. Mahatma Gandhi believed that this this dharma of non-violence could unite all Indians. After his arrival in India in the year 1915, Mahatma Gandhi successfully carried satyagraha movements at different places. In 1917, he organized satyagraha in Champaran, the Champaran is place of Bihar, to fight for the case of peasants who were being oppressed by the indigo planters. Then in 1918 he organized satyagraha to help peasants of 1917 he organized satyagraha to help the peasants of Kheda, district of Gujarat. The government in Kheda was confiscating lands of the landowners for non-payment of tax, whereas the landowners had already expressed their inability to pay it due to the crop failure caused by the famine. famine. In 1918, he also undertook Satyagraha movement against the cotton mill workers. Confident with the past success, Gandhiji decided to launch a nationwide Satyagraha against the proposed Rowlatt Act of 1919. Here the question across as to what was Rowlatt Act. So the Rowlatt Act is the Imperial Legislative Council, despite the collective opposition of the Indian members, passed the Rowlatt Act. It allowed the British government to crack down political movements in the country and allowed detention of political prisoners without trial for 2 years. Gandhiji wanted a nationwide satyagraha against these unjust laws. A non-violent civil disobedience movement was launched against the law on 6th April. Nationwide protests took place. The British government wanted to curb down the upsurge, so they arrested leaders from Amritsar and Gandhiji was detained to enter Delhi. So, if I explain this topic to you in detail, so the Rowlatt Act was 1919 enabled the British government could detain any political prisoner for a term of 2 years without any trial. This act had been ha- um, this act had been hurriedly passed by the Imperial Legislative Council, though it was opposed by the Indian members. This act gave the British government enormous powers to repress political activities. Mahatma Gandhi decided to have a non-violent civil disobedience movement against such unjust laws. He decided to begin it with a Hartal on 6th April. Rallies were organized in various cities. Workers of the railway workshops went on strike. In order to suppress this upsurge, the British government decided to clamp down on nationalists. The government started picking up local leaders from Amritsar and Mahatma Gandhi was barred from entering Delhi. On 10th April, the police took a rash step of firing upon a peaceful procession in Amritsar. So, this provoked people, resulting into attacks on banks, post office, and railway stations. The government imposed marital law, which means that there would be direct military control of normal civilian functions. General Dyer was given the command. So on 13th April, the infamous Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place. A large but peaceful crowd had gathered in the grounds of Jallianwala Bagh. Dyer entered the area and blocked the exit points and opened fire at the crowd, killing hundreds of people. The news of Jallianwala Bagh spread across the country like fire. People were uh, infuriated and strikes, clashes, attacks on government buildings took place. There were utter confusion and violence in the country, which led to Gandhiji calling off the movement. So, uh, I will explain this topic to you in detail. So, in Jallianwala Bagh massacre, so on 13th April 1919. A large crowd gathered in the enclosed ground of Jallianwala Bagh. Some had come to protest against the new laws and measures of the government, and some had come to attend the Baisakhi fair. Some of those who had come to attend the fair were outsiders and were not aware of the marital law imposed in the area. Dyer blocked the exit area and opened fire on the crowd. Hundreds of men and women were killed, including children. Later Dyer declared that his objective behind the march was to create terror in the minds of satyagrahis. Soon the news about Jallianwala Bagh broke out. Crowds took the streets in many North Indian towns. There were strikes, protests, clashes with the police. Even the government buildings were attacked. To this, the British government responded in a very brutal manner. People were both physically and mentally tortured. The nationalists were humiliated as they were forced to rub their noses on the ground, crawl on the streets, and salute to all sahibs. Not only this, people were flogged, means beaten, and villagers around Gujranwala in Punjab, now in Pakistan, were bombed. On seeing, on seeing the violence being spread, Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement. Though the Satyagraha was a widespread movement, it was restricted to cities and towns only. Therefore, Mahatma Gandhi decided to launch a more broad-based movement in India. At this movement, he also thought of bringing Hindus and Muslims together so as to make this movement certain and more realistic. To make it work, he decided to take up the Khilafat issue. So, what was Khilafat movement? So, Gandhiji then took up the Khilafat issue, which brought unity amongst the Hindus and the Muslims together. The Khilafat committee was set up in Bombay in 1919. Gandhiji urged the leaders of the National Congress to start a non-cooperation movement in support of Khilafat and Swaraj. So, why non-cooperation? As per Gandhiji, British rules was established in India because of cooperation of the Indians. If Indians did not cooperate, then the British rule would collapse in a year. The movement was proposed in stages starting from the renunciation of titles. There was a boycott of civil services, army, foreign goods, police, courts, and legislative council. In December 1920, the non-cooperation movement was adopted. So, I will explain this topic to you in detail. So, during the First World War, the Ottoman emperors of Turkey was defeated by the Britishers. He was known as the Khalifa, a spiritual head of the Muslim world. A news was spread that Khalifa was forced to sign a harsh peace treaty by the Britishers. This had caused anger among the Indian Muslims. To defend the Khalifa's temporal powers, a Khilafat committee was formed in Bombay in March 1919 by Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. Both the brothers discussed with Mahatma Gandhi about the possibility of a united mass action on the issue. Gandhiji found it to be an opportunity to bring Hindus and Muslims together for a unified national movement. So, in Calcutta sessions of Congress in September 1920, he convinced other leaders for this end. A non-cooperation movement was started in support of Khilafat as well as for Swaraj. Till now, we have come to know what Satyagraha was, how it was organized, and we have also learned about the idea of non-cooperation movement in support of Khilafat as well as for Swaraj. Swaraj means self-government. But here a question comes is why non-cooperation was chosen by Gandhiji? What was the purpose of launching this movement? So, as per the famous book Hind Swaraj 1909, Mahatma Gandhi declared the British rule came into being because of the cooperation by Indians. He was of the view that if Indians had refused to cooperate, the British rule in India will come to an end in a year and Swaraj would find its way. To materialize the movement, Gandhiji decided to work on it in stages. So it was done in the following manner. At first, the titles awarded by the British government were to be surrendered by the people. Second, boycott of civil services, army, police, courts and legislative councils, schools and foreign goods. Third, if in case the government uses repression, then a full civil disobedience campaign was to be launched. Mahatma Gandhi and Shaukat Ali toured extensively through the summer of 1920 to gain support for the movement. On the other hand, there were some members of Congress who were not ready to support this movement. They were not in favor to boycott the council election which was to be held in November 1920. So most of them were afraid of any incident of violence. So in the months between September and December, there was a situation of tussle among the members of Congress. But in the Nagpur session of Congress in December 1920, a compromise was worked out and this led to the adoption of the non-cooperation movement. Though this movement started at a national level, but people involved in it had their own perceptive. So here today's concept is completed. I hope you have understood all the topics of today very well. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.